Rachel Zegler's career trajectory has been a whirlwind of high-profile opportunities and unrelenting controversy, with her latest role as Eva Peron in Jamie Lloyd's upcoming Evita revival at the London Palladium adding yet another chapter to her polarizing narrative. Scheduled to run from June through early September 2025, this production has already become a lightning rod for criticism, even before its opening night. The actress, who first gained widespread attention for her role in Disney's live-action Snow White remake, has found herself at the center of a storm that blends public backlash, professional missteps, and industry intrigue. The Evita casting has reignited debates about her talent, behavior, and whether she is genuinely suited for the iconic roles she continues to secure despite a growing wave of skepticism. The roots of Zegler's current predicament trace back to her time promoting the Snow White remake, a project that was meant to cement her as a rising star, but instead became a cautionary tale of public relations gone awry. During the film's press tour, Zegler made a series of comments that alienated a significant portion of Disney's audience. She openly criticized the 1937 animated classic, dismissing the prince as a stalker and mocking the concept of love at first sight as outdated. Her tone, often perceived as dismissive and condescending, suggested a disconnect from the fairy tale's enduring appeal. These remarks, delivered with a confidence that bordered on arrogance, were clipped and shared across social media platforms, where they went viral for all the wrong reasons. TikTok influencers and YouTubers pounced, creating reaction videos filled with eye rolls, sarcastic voiceovers, and biting commentary. Zegler, rather than emerging as the poised new face of Disney, became an internet punching bag, her comments framed as emblematic of a broader cultural disconnect. The Snow White remake itself did little to redeem the situation. Plagued by production delays and rumors of extensive reshoots, the film reportedly carried a budget of around $170 million, but stumbled at the box office with an opening weekend of under $50 million, the lowest of any live-action Disney remake. Critics and audiences were equally unkind. The film was lambasted for its lack of coherence, with some reviewers describing it as suffering from an identity crisis. A particularly contentious decision was the replacement of the Seven Dwarfs with a group of magical creatures, including only one character with dwarfism. This move, intended as a progressive reimagining, was widely criticized as erasing representation rather than enhancing it. Disability advocates, in particular, voiced frustration, with one critic noting that the film went backwards by sidelining dwarfism, a key element of the original story. The movie's heavy-handed political messaging also drew ire, with detractors arguing that it prioritized ideological agendas over the timeless themes of love and resilience that define the fairy tale. On IMDb, the film languishes with a 2/10 rating, with user reviews decrying its generic storytelling, atrocious musical numbers, and overall lack of charm. Given this fallout, many expected Zegler to adopt a more cautious approach to her career, perhaps choosing roles that would allow her to rebuild her reputation quietly. Instead, she landed the coveted role of Eva Peron in Lloyd's Evita revival, a decision that stunned the theater world and reignited the controversy surrounding her. Evita is no ordinary musical. It is a cornerstone of musical theater, demanding a performer with emotional depth, vocal precision, and magnetic stage presence. The announcement of Zegler's casting was met with a polarized response. A small contingent of fans praised the choice as bold and innovative, arguing that her youth and energy could bring a fresh perspective to the role. But the broader reaction was one of disbelief and outrage, particularly among theater traditionalists who questioned whether Zegler had the experience or respect for the material to tackle such a demanding part. The backlash was not merely about her qualifications. Zegler's comments during the Snow White press tour had left a lingering impression that she was dismissive of beloved classics, leading many to wonder whether she would approach Evita with similar irreverence. Social media platforms, particularly X, became battlegrounds for debates about her suitability. Critics pointed to her lack of extensive stage experience, noting that Evita requires a level of discipline and maturity that Zegler, still in her early 20s, might not yet possess. Others questioned Lloyd's motives, speculating that the casting was a calculated move to generate buzz rather than a reflection of Zegler's talent. The phrase publicity stunt surfaced repeatedly in theater blogs and comment sections, with some insiders suggesting that Lloyd was banking on Zegler's notoriety to draw attention to his production. The real-world impact of this controversy has been stark. Ticket sales for Evita, typically expected to be robust for a high-profile West End production at the prestigious London Palladium, have been alarmingly sluggish. Reports indicate that entire rows of seats, including premium weekend spots and boxes, remain unsold just weeks before opening night. For a show of this caliber, directed by a figure as respected as Jamie Lloyd, such numbers are not just disappointing, they are potentially catastrophic. Theater analysts have dubbed this phenomenon the Zegler effect, arguing that audiences are staying away not because of the production's music, venue, or creative vision, but because of their skepticism about Zegler herself. Box office sources have leaked that producers are already exploring discounts and promotional codes to boost attendance, a move virtually unheard of for a show of this scale at this stage. The financial stakes are immense, and the specter of a half-empty theater looms large. Compounding these external challenges are troubling rumors of behind-the-scenes turmoil. Whispers from London's theater community suggest that Zegler's behavior during rehearsals has strained her relationship with Lloyd and the cast. Sources claim she frequently arrives late, openly questions Lloyd's directorial choices in front of the ensemble, and has even walked off set during disagreements over scene blocking. What was intended to be a collaborative creative process has reportedly devolved into a tense battleground. Multiple cast members are said to be frustrated, with some alleging that Zegler monopolizes stage time, deviates from the script during rehearsals, and refuses to blend her vocals with the ensemble unless she is the focal point. These reports paint a picture of a performer whose ego is at odds with the collaborative ethos of theater, a stark contrast to the discipline required for a production of Evita's magnitude. The situation reportedly reached a breaking point last week when Lloyd convened a closed-door meeting with producers and legal representatives to discuss Zegler's contract. Insiders claim that her role is under serious review, with the possibility of replacing her before opening night being quietly explored. Such a move would be extraordinary given the logistical and financial challenges of recasting a lead in a major production so close to its premiere. Yet the alternative, proceeding with a lead whose presence is alienating both the cast and potential audiences, carries its own risks. Lloyd, once a vocal supporter of Zegler's ferocity and vision, is now reportedly viewing her as a liability, with some sources claiming he has privately described her as a disaster. This unfolding drama raises broader questions about Zegler's career and the entertainment industry's handling of controversial figures. Despite the Snow White debacle, which alienated a significant portion of Disney's fanbase, and now the Evita controversy, Zegler continues to secure high-profile roles. After Snow White, she could have faded into obscurity, as many young actors do following a public misstep. Instead, she has landed parts in major projects, including this West End production. Some attribute this to genuine resilience, arguing that her talent and charisma make her a compelling choice for directors like Lloyd. Others, however, see her trajectory as a case of failing upward, where industry insiders prioritize visibility and marketability over public sentiment. Zegler's ability to generate headlines, even negative ones, seems to translate into a form of star power, at least in the eyes of those making casting decisions. Her social media presence reflects the toll of this scrutiny. Once characterized by unapologetic confidence, her posts have shifted toward a more defensive tone, with lengthy captions explaining her creative process and emphasizing her connection to Eva Peron. These efforts, however, have largely fallen flat, with audiences interpreting them as attempts to salvage her image rather than genuine reflections of her artistry. The Snow White controversy, in particular, continues to cast a long shadow. Beyond her comments about the prince and love at first sight, the film's handling of the dwarfs sparked significant backlash. The decision to replace the 7 dwarfs with a single dwarf among magical creatures was seen by many as a misstep, with critics arguing that it erased a key aspect of disability representation. One reviewer pointedly remarked that the film erased the dwarfism side of it, the disability, undermining the very inclusivity it aimed to promote.